Hola mis amigos, ¿cómo estás? Soy Blaze. Tengo un mensaje para ti. Ah, Me encanta español, me encanta aprender y me encanta Duolingo. How's it going, everybody? So I know I typically do more guitar stuff, but I wanted to uh, share kind of like a review slash testimonial. So I have been studying Spanish on Duolingo for I guess about 10 months now, maybe on like a month 11. Before that, I spoke like no Spanish, like zero. Okay. I mean, I remember a few years ago, some buddies and I went to Costa Rica, and one of my buddies cut his foot really bad, and we had to take him to the hospital. And in the hospital, nobody spoke English. There was one kid that was like 17 that spoke English, and for the whole hospital. So that was where before then I could count to eight, right, in Spanish. Now, and that's where I learned actually what nueve meant, nine, because he had to get 9 stitches in his foot. And none of us spoke Spanish like at all at the time, and that was the only place in Costa Rica where we needed it. Um, and then a year ago, or almost a year ago, about 11 months ago, or something like that. No, it was almost exactly a year ago. Some buddies and I went to, different friends went to Mexico, and we really needed Spanish. And I have one friend who's about 10 or 15% fluent in Spanish, and so that was enough for us to get by. But it was difficult, and so since then I decided I was going to start using Duolingo pretty consistently. So I did. I don't know if any of you guys have used Duolingo much, but it was really great. So I still use it every day. Um, Basically, the way that I viewed it was like I don't know how long it will take me, but I want to be as good as my buddy was, at least 10 or 15% fluent. And when you're using Duolingo, they have all these little prompts like that say, 15 minutes a day can teach you another language. What can 15 minutes of social media do? And I was already kind of like fed up with social media anyway, but I just thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. So, in addition, I was already studying I was making sure I just did it every day, even if it was just like one lesson, which is like 2 to 5 minutes. And then what I ended up doing was I got rid of all my social media. And instead of doing that, if I could, if the circumstances would permit, I would just sit there and do a lesson of Duolingo. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try doing Duolingo for 15 minutes every day. I've been doing it in Spanish. And obviously, I hope I made that clear at the beginning. but so, um, yeah, so, and that was probably after about 2 or 3 months in that I got rid of social media. So, um, and I've been focusing a lot more on learning Spanish, and it's been amazing. Like, I'm definitely not fluent, but I met a girl who only speaks Spanish, and we went on 6 dates. And we had to communicate like almost entirely in Spanish. And here's the other thing that's crazy about it. She had been in the U.S. for 6 months by the time that we went out, and her English was like just so small, muy un poquito. That might be redundant, but it's just very very little. Okay, but whereas my Spanish was way better than her English, and she's been living here for 6 months. But I just by studying a little bit every day, I think 15 minutes is probably a pretty good amount of time. And I'm not saying it has to be straight, like 15 minutes straight, but even just going, doing one lesson here, another lesson at lunch, or maybe another couple lessons after dinner or something, has been super helpful. I've met some different people who speak Spanish and English, and so sometimes we'll talk just in Spanish. And they tell me how good my pronunciation is, that they're really impressed that I can speak as much as I can based from an app. I mean, literally, I've just been doing it on an app. I have started listening to a little bit of music in Spanish and stuff, and I love it. So that all that stuff's been really helpful. But I just want to say, I think it's been super good. I took German in high school for 3 years, and I did a foreign exchange in Germany. And my Spanish is way better now than my German ever was. They say some things in those different prompts, like, like people, you can learn more in like, I don't know exactly what the prompt says, but you can basically learn more in like a month of studying on Duolingo than you can in like a semester of college. And I actually think that that's probably true, because one of those years was actually all college credits. And my German was like, it was okay, right? Like I mean, it was never great. Like I could never converse and understand as much as I can right now. It's still a little bit difficult for me when people speak really, really fast. Um, but even then, I can still usually get enough of the verbs down that I can understand. I'm not going to say I'm even close to fluent. I'm probably like, I don't know, I'm going to guess like 15 or 20% fluent. But I order food in restaurants, like in Mexican restaurants and stuff, in Spanish all the time now. Um, and like that's great. I could make a hotel reservation in Spanish. I was able to go on a bunch of dates with a girl who only spoke Spanish. So um, yeah, so it was. I've been able to really get by. I will say I don't know like a lot of past tense very well. Past tense is pretty hard, because I just haven't really gotten there yet in Duolingo. But I know present tense great, and I know some future tense as well. Future tense is actually pretty easy, but so I do know some of that. But it's funny. I'll give you a quick story though. The only real problem I had when I was going out with that girl was when I like deviated from what I knew for sure from Duolingo. So one thing to keep in mind when you're learning a language is that not everything translates exactly, right? So for instance, in Spanish, one way that they say I love you is te quiero. Okay, but literally te means you and quiero is I want. So it sounds more like I want you. So that's what I thought it meant. So I one time said to her, we had gone on 2 dates at this time, I said te quiero. And she was like, oh wow, like he really likes me, right? And so, but I thought it meant I want you. And so I didn't realize what I was saying. So then she broke things off with me later, and she was like, saying, this is all in Spanish, but she was like, I know that you love me and things. I didn't realize that she, I thought that I thought that I was saying I want you, not that I love you. And so I didn't realize that she like the whole time thought that I was in love with her and that I was saying that after a second date. So I will say, my Spanish is obviously not perfect, but I really, really do like it. So I guess I'll just kind of end it in Spanish. Me encanta Duolingo porque yo hablo mucho español ahora y mi español es no bueno, pero o no genial, pero yo estudio todos los días para 10 o 11 meses y aprendo mucho, no palabras, pero mucho español y muchas palabras y ahora puedo hablar con muchas personas en español. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think if you want to see other reviews and stuff. So thanks for watching. See you next time.